If you're in need of a quick card that is sweet and simple and super easy to make for any kind of blessings, maybe for Easter, for baptism, for a wedding, then I have a fun card idea for you. We only need a handful of supplies, so let me show you how to make this card. It features the Blessed Beginnings bundle by Stampin' Up. This is a January 2026 release, and it has a stamp set and coordinating dies. So I have my basic white thick cardstock base that is 8.5 by 5.5, score and folded on the long side at 4.25. I will put that aside for a second. And then I have a scrap of Pool Party. I also have a layer of Pool Party that will go behind my stamped layer. So this is cut to 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Then I have some basic white, the regular kind, that is 3 3/4 by 5. And then I have a piece of basic white that is about, that is 2.5 by 1, 2, 3, 3 1/4. So I can stamp and die cut my church. So let's start there. I have my stamps mounted so I can put these away. By the way, if you would like to, let me know in the comments if you would like to see, with this new Stampin' Up! Packaging, I know there are lots of different ideas. I've tried a lot of them, and I actually came up with at least one that works for me a little bit better, quicker, easier, because we're all about quick and easy here at my channel. So if you're interested, I can do a video about that sometime soon. Just let me know in the comments. And like I said, we have the dies for that, so I will get that just ready to go. And since we're talking about storage, so this is actually what I do whenever I get a new set of dies. I take a pencil and I just run them around the dies. So that way I know if I ever part with this die set, I know how they go back onto the sticky sheet. And I started actually writing down the name of the dies and the item code and the number of dies, even though I have all of that on that inlay. You know, it's printed on there, but just as a precaution, I guess. So we're going to need the church, and we're going to need 2 of the clouds. Okay, so just so they're ready to go, I'm bringing in some Secret Sea. Really has been my favorite in color from these 2025 through 2027 in colors. I've used that a lot. So, and I've mounted already my church. It does not fit on our D-sized block. So you might want to get, this is the, let's see, size E. Oh gosh, this is still like from my card class that I just did a few days ago, my in-person card class. And yeah, if you see lots of kind of like residue, all of my stamps at my class, they run through a lot of sticky fingers, including mine. So it's time to clean my blocks. Maybe I'll do a little spring cleaning sometime soon. All right, so I'm just inking that up in Secret Sea and stamp that down here on my basic white. Okay. And just because I don't trust myself, I'm going to close that. We'll need it for the sentiment, but I'll put it away for just right now. And then I went ahead and brought in 2 different colors. I have here the gray granite and light and dark, and then Pool Party, just the light one. You can use the dark one as well. That doesn't matter so much. So I went ahead and I used, let's see, this is light. And I used the light one to color in the roof parts. Maybe I should have went with the brush tip, but it's fine. If you've never used a Stampin' lens before, these are alcohol markers, so you don't want to color all the way to the edge because they will spread out a little bit. It's just the nature of the Stampin' lens of alcohol ink. It will bleed out a little bit. So you can just... I don't have a very specific technique with these because I keep my coloring pretty simple. So, Okay, let's see. Was there something? Oh yeah, and the door. I did the door in a light gray granite as well. So you can use any color you want with this. You could go with crumb cake, pecan pie. I think that would look nice too. So you have more of like a brown tone. And let's see, I think that was it. So I'm switching to the darker gray granite and just going with a very light touch, just kind of working on these other parts. Oh, and I just realized I forgot something, but we can fix that here in a minute. So trying to not color over my lines too much. And then I did kind of the stairs and down here the breaks. I did that in the dark as well. It will lighten up. It looks pretty dark right now, but it will actually lighten up a little bit more as the alcohol evaporates from the paper. Okay, so, and to give it just a little bit of, first of all, to pick up the pool party that we have here in the background. So I just went ahead and colored in what looked, this could be a window, could be something else. I don't know, just a decorative part, but these are definitely windows. So I decided I'll just give them a little bit of pool party. So you have multiple touch points of that color. I always try to pick up the colors that I use. I usually try to have them at least one or two times, at least two times on the card to really bring everything together. I hope that made sense. So what I forgot, so that's the coloring part. What I forgot was to actually stamp this little cross. And you want to go gently. I really hope I don't mess this up. So let me just pull that in for a second. So there is one that you can die cut. Okay, just, whew. Okay, that turned out nice. So let me just put that aside. And while I have my ink pad still open, I can put that aside. I'm bringing in my basic white layer here. Again, that is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So I'm just going to stamp my blessings. Let's see if I can manage to get that on there straight. Okay, about like 3/4 of an inch. Okay, let's be brave. Okay, my stamp looks a little bit smeared. I might have to, looks a little bit fuzzy there. So let me, oh yeah, so if you have a lot of kind of like fuzzy pieces, oh yeah. So I might have to run this under the sink, but that's okay. So, because yeah, I think it picked up too much, what I was going to say, it just picked up lint, I think, during the card class. So it's transferring that by, with the stamping. So I'll have to wash it off. It can also happen if you leave out your stamps overnight. Of course, if you have some dust in the room, it's probably going to settle on your photopolymer stamps. So you don't want to do that too often. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm not going to stamp it right there. I'm going to stamp it over because down here my church is going to cover it up in case it shines through. Okay, so let's just try that again. About there. Yeah, that turned out better. So that's good. Okay, so we'll go with that. And we can close that. We can go ahead and, yeah, it's like, I don't know what happened here. So we can go ahead and put that down on our pool party layer. Now, if you don't have any pool party scraps, but you have that panel, of course, you can go ahead, before you glue this down, die cut your clouds from the middle. No one's going to know. So, but I have so many pool party scraps, I need to use them up. So, plus I only have the small die cutting machine here at my video desk. Yes, I finally have a designated spot for filming my videos, so I really hope that I can share more video tutorials for Sweet and Simple cards here on my channel. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe. All right, there we go. And we can actually go ahead and put that on our card base. So we have a few layers here out of the way. I'm going to switch to liquid glue just to have a little bit more control over wiggling my card panel here in place on my card base. Does that sound better? Yep. So we'll go with that. Okay. Let's see here. That looks pretty good, actually. Okay. I'm not going to try to... I'm trying to avoid not smear over that because I'm not sure if that's 100% dry. Plus, like I said, I have some fuzzies on there, and sometimes, you know, that fuzzy is not pushed all the way down. I hope that makes sense. The lint, it picks up ink, and then you might actually, you know, there's a spot where you still have some lint sitting on there to transfer it onto your paper, and so there's a lot of ink still kind of like on it. And anyways, if you then try to brush over it, it might just smear. So I'm just not gonna touch it for now. All right, so but let's do some quick die cutting. We'll put this aside, and I will bring in my small. Man, there's a lot of adhesive already on this. My small die cutting machine. Okay, so let's run our clouds first through that. I have no idea how long I've been recording now. Okay, I might be able to finish it off under 15 minutes. We'll see. Okay, I'm going to start, but not to make the camera shake so much, and a little bit of a workout if you can. Just lifting up your die cutting machine. Of course, you don't have to do that at home. I just try to avoid shaking the table too much. All right, so there we go. And then we have our church. So this is a really fun set because you have like clouds and bushes and a tree. Lots of different elements that you can use to really build some beautiful scenes for different occasions. Oh, give me a second. My tape fell right into the part of the die cutting machine where you really don't want it. Okay, so let me line up my... Gosh. I feel like I have 2 left thumbs today. I don't know if that German idiom transfers to English. And it's not actually thumbs. How do we say that? 2 left hands? Which is kind of funny because I'm mostly ambidextrous. So I do a lot of things with my left hand. But like writing, I actually do with my right hand. But I think that's just because that's how I learned it at school. So, but I'd say for crafting, that comes in pretty handy, especially tying bows. I know that's something my class attendees appreciate. I try to tie the bows for them. So, and if you can use both of your hands, either way, that comes in handy. No pun intended. All right, let's see. Crank this through. Let's hope we got it with a nice even border. Oh, good enough. We're putting it on a white base, so that's no big deal. Okay, so let's finish up our card. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to flip this over and grab some dimensionals and pop this up. I like to keep it pretty even. So I might be, for your taste, I might be going a little bit overboard here with my dimensionals, but that's just personal preference, right? Okay, so let's use up some of these edges here. So I will put one right there. But I don't want my top of the church to kind of be pushed down in the mail when it goes through processing. those postage machines or whatever they're called. All right, so just getting all these backings off, and I hope I'm still on camera somewhat. All right, we're almost there. Okay, sometimes it helps to pick up your card base. So let's see, is that somewhat in the middle and straight? I think so. And if not, okay, I'm not going to break out the ruler now for that because it's still a pretty card. Okay, and then I'm going to use just a little bit of liquid glue if it's willing. There we go. Just make some few dots here and there on my clouds because they have these cut out textured lines all over them. So this one's going to go a little bit higher, but let's try and make our clouds. They should, even though they're puffy clouds, they should still somewhat be straight. Okay, and then the same thing for our little one. If you like this card idea or my card style in general, sweet and simple, if you're not an email subscriber yet, you want to make sure that you use the link down below the video and in the description to subscribe to my email list. I sent out a Easter Blessings version card to my email subscribers, so I share more inspiration there with you, and also upcoming classes that I'm teaching in person and online, as well as Stampin' Up! News. So if you don't want to miss out on that for any future projects, make sure you subscribe right away. And that's it for my card idea today with the, now I was going to call it Easter Blessings, with the Blessed Beginnings bundle by Stampin' Up! Again, this is a January 2026 release. Of course, you could embellish it a little bit more, maybe some, I don't know, a twine or something like that, or some bling. But I just love the simplicity of it. Just really using a few supplies, basically just using 3 different colors, one for stamping, two for coloring in, and then one for cardstock. And there you go, you have a quick and easy card. And like I said, with these sentiments, you can really make it fit the occasion that you need. And thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.